What's up guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do a short video on the alt skip for the new campaign, how to quickly catch up on last season's Overcharged belt progress, even if you haven't started yet, a couple reminders about Valor Stones, crests, and restored coffer keys for this week, a warning about a known issue with the new world boss, and my thoughts on the recent scandal for the new challenge boss Ky'veza that might see some people having their rewards rolled back. Before we get started, make sure to sub to the channel to stay in the loop for solo challenge guides. Like this video to help promote it across YouTube, and let me know in the comments what classes you're playing this tier so I can prioritize those for the content I'm putting out. Also, big shout out to this channel's very first member, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick. Welcome aboard. If you're also looking to support us a little bit further, you can do so for as little as $1 a month. Just hit the join button at the bottom of this video. You can also hit us with a super thanks, which is a one-time donation of your choice. Thanks again to Michael and BigFish006 for your recent contributions. Let's get started. So in the last year or so, Blizz has gotten a little bit better on alt catch-ups and how quickly they're available. What you'll need to do to open this is complete the first chapters of the Knife's Edge campaign. After 3 chapters, we're all just waiting for next week for the 4th chapter to open up. At that point, you'll have 2 nodes filled out on the corresponding talent tree, and your Reishi wraps will be item level 707. I'm very happy to share with you that the cloak progress is account-wide. Logging onto any of your alts will of course present you with the very first quest in this chain. You'll turn that quest into Locust Walker, pick up another one, and he'll take you through the portal to Tazavesh. At that point, you'll get that cutscene that you're probably going to skip. You can talk to Omen, the spider NPC in front of you, to utilize a campaign skip. You can do this before or after turning in Locust Walker's second quest, but I wouldn't recommend proceeding much further if you do want to utilize the skip. In the past, there have been hard stop points where the skip is no longer available if you proceed too far into the campaign. And once you activate that skip, you can go straight to Overlook Zoshul and talk to Hashim, who will have a turn-in for a quest called A Skip Through the Void. At that point, he'll have a few dialogue options. Selecting that very top one will get you the cloak on your alt, although it will be at rank 1. The option just under that will let you buy the socketed stat item that goes in your cloak. These are swappable and not destroyed when you do swap them, so you can buy even all 4 of them and just swap them based on the spec you're playing or content you're doing. Don't forget to empower your alt's cloak by selecting the 3rd option and then filling out the talent tree. That progress is account-wide and is even shown as a progress bar above Hashim. This will bring your alt's cloak to 707 or whatever your current max level is. Additionally, at rank 5 with the new Crests faction, tailors can buy a pattern for an epic version of the fibers we're placing in our cloaks that give you about 1,700 secondaries versus the 1,100 or so that we're currently using. The materials for this are quite reasonable. You might have trouble getting service based on the tip you're providing. Reminder that public orders are capped to the amount people can do, so providing a good tip early on is probably the only way you're going to get yours completed, though every day the number of tailors with that pattern will increase. Also, you might take a look at the new world boss while you're out there, Reshinor the Untethered. Players had a lot of trouble with him the first couple of days. Super long fights. I'm not sure if he's actually been nerfed, but the fight I did this morning was only about 8 minutes, though lots of players had trouble interacting with the ad spawns in between phases. It seems this boss will follow the same rules we had last season. It'll give you a guaranteed piece of Warbound gear the first time you complete it, and I'm fairly certain that means no more gear for the remainder of your alts. This does cut down on having to spam that boss, but it also means that late in the week you might have trouble finding groups. Maybe not this very first week, but down the line you probably want to get that done early. I will say the common problem of the world quest for that world boss not completing after the end of the fight is happening to players again. Sometimes this can be solved by just doing the fight again, although that's not guaranteed. Frankly, I would just cross your fingers and hope it completes for you, and if not, just move on with your life. Also important to note that the Warbound gear you get from the boss isn't guaranteed to be for the spec that you're playing. You're just basically looking at a 1 in 4 chance on that if that gear will be usable for the tune you're on. I don't see Blizz changing that this season. They went all last season with that model despite all the complaints. But the guaranteed piece on the first kill does prevent you from having to spam that on alts to get all the gear you possibly can. So really, a guaranteed piece of Warbound gear on your first kill versus trudging all 13 of your tunes out there sounds like a good enough deal for me. Certainly cuts down on the 2-hour process that can be this early on in the patch. So there's certainly a lot of talk about last season's Overcharged belt being relevant for pretty much everybody early on, and even for a lot of specs down the line. I haven't seen any notes on Blizzard nerfing this yet, but I will say the process of getting your belt and fully upgrading it is a lot easier than it was last season. In the Delver's headquarters in Dornegal, you'll see a Titan console that will give you your very first quest to pick up your belt. The only criteria is to complete any delve. And that's the same requirement for the 3 upgrades you're going to need to bring that belt to 701 item level. You will have to do it on all of your tunes, but what does count as progress is even the first rank of difficulty on the Underpin fight. The single question mark difficulty of the Underpin is quite easy. Only 3 ads come at a time. I think I was killing him in 2 sets of ads. And the shield he puts up doesn't have a timer. You can just break that at your leisure and proceed with the fight. You can certainly go complete any other delve, even at rank 1, and get that progress, but you'll also complete the delve weekly that Brand has for you for completing 3 delves doing this. But frankly, even running out to a delve on level 1 and doing all that is a little bit more work for me than killing the underpin on rank 1 with 175 million health or whatever he has. Either way, that's all the progress you'll need. You can go do the underpin, you could probably do Zekvir, you could go do rank 1 delves of your choice. What is account-wide with the Overcharged belt, however, is the Titan disc you use to have the different effects that you can choose when you right-click the belt. It starts out with 3 options. There's 6 more that you can get for doing specific delves. You can just mouse over the disc in your belt interface and it'll tell you which delve to go get it from. Also, a quick reminder, probably a good idea to stop off at all of the renowned vendors for the various factions that we've already seen, Undermine and the original 4. Depending on the last time you saw them, especially on alts, you might have Valor Stone to pick up and even new weathered or carved crests. The rewards available just update each season, so if you have a brand new tune to War Within content and haven't visited those vendors, doing that will give you a really good jump start on crests for the season, and those crests do not contribute to your weekly cap. Also, while we're talking about the currency, there is no quest this patch to turn in half a spark to get your other half a spark for your first full spark. You are just going to get your half sparks from the content you're doing, but they have added a way to track your spark progress that will be a little bit more useful throughout the rest of the season than it is now. But just under your carved crests in your currency tab, you'll see Starlight Spark Dust. Mousing over this will show you the total amount that you would have been able to collect up to any given point in the season. Very handy much further down the line when you're trying to do math on number of crafted items you have and sparks in your inventory. Also, as you are doing those weekly quests and additional caches that you can get throughout the world, there does seem to be a change that's not fully accounted for on the text for the various caches that you can earn this week. For the pinnacle caches, it says that you can get 2 pieces of veteran gear and up to 4 restored coffer keys. Frankly, what I'm seeing is that you're going to get 2 restored coffer keys from the weekly stuff, and every cache after that you're going to get 50 coffer key fragments. So your 4 keys this week will require up to 6 weekly caches. If people are now getting full keys from their caches, that's awesome, but what I've seen so far is you're going to get 2 full keys and then coffer key fragments. Restored coffer keys do kind of plummet in value as every week goes by. As somebody that plays a bunch of alts, I'm going to get my 2 full keys, and depending on how much time I have left in the week and how much interest I have in it, I'll go get more key fragments from various activities, but likely not. And the last item on today's agenda is talking about the Season 3 Challenge boss and the little bit of a scandal we've had going on with that. Ky'veza is the Season 3 Challenge boss, proving very difficult for lots of people. I've yet to take down the 2nd level of difficulty. I've completed the first one on several tunes. The second one just adds about 2.5 times the health and a whole bunch of melee damage and an adjustment to one of the mechanics. If you're not super familiar with the boss yet, it's basically bullet hell. Everything's a one-shot, which a lot of people like. You're not kicking anything, you're not breaking shields, you're not interrupting anything. You're just following one-shot mechanics over and over until you complete the fight. Everything other than placing puddles on the ground requires extremely good reaction time. All the one-shots are one-shots to an extreme degree. 50 million, 70 million, 150 million damage, and some of that even pierces immunities. What Blizzard didn't check though is Spell Reflect. The warriors were able to complete the 2nd level of difficulty by spell reflecting some of these mechanics to the boss, and I think that's super funny. Obviously Blizz didn't intend for this to be the case, but the boss does have a billion health, so taking chunks of several million damage at a time with Spell Reflect was allowing people to complete this fight in very short order with much less effort than would be required without the Spell Reflect. I wouldn't even call it a bug, I would just say it's an oversight, right? Spell Reflect is functioning the way it does. People use Spell Reflect on warriors, a very easily understood situation. I've not seen follow-up on exactly what action they took for people who completed the fight in this manner. Personally, I don't think you should punish anybody who did this. They were just playing their class as they normally would. I'll be honest, if I had gone in there on my warrior and I Spell Reflected a third of his health back at him, I'm not completing that fight. I'm sure some people will call me a liar for that, think whatever you want, I'm not completing that fight. I don't particularly blame anybody that did though. I think correcting the fight so that Spell Reflect no longer works is the appropriate course of action. I don't think Blizzard should punish anybody who did it, but I do think rollbacks on the achievement for the fight are appropriate. There are some people that say, hey, we earned it because we did it. Not really. You know, I would disagree with that. I would say, you know, you beat it with Spell Reflect. That was not intended. I wouldn't call it an exploit. I would just say it's not intended. Clearly, Blizzard doesn't want anybody completing the fight in 2 minutes, dealing 95% of the damage to the boss with one button. And I think that's a logical way to look at it. Don't punish anybody. Probably take that achievement away. If they don't, I don't particularly care. I just think that's what's fair, right? But if you have any warrior friends that completed that boss fight in the last couple days and didn't record it, I would say it's highly possible they used the Spell Reflect feature, and I would leave it at that. I'm not picking any fights with anybody. I just think we all know what happened. And I'm sure plenty of people will disagree with me on any number of the things I said, but I think that's probably the majority of the opinion. Don't ban anybody, take the stuff away from them, fix Spell Reflect, and then we can all get on with our lives. But that's about it for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the comments, let me know what classes you're playing. Make sure to like this video if you liked it and to help promote it across YouTube. Make sure to sub to the channel to stay in the loop for Season 3 solo challenge content. And of course, welcome again our very first channel member, Nick. Thank you so much, Nick. And of course, Michael and BigFish006, thank you for your recent donations. That's awesome. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or evening. Peace.